guys, it's Jacqueline and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today's video is a fancy white box. So basically the concept is a fancy white box. So it's just basically a modern build, I guess. And you start with a white box pretty much, and then you just add on to it, do what you can. One of the goals at least is to keep it mostly white, which I did do. I added some accents of like not brick, but stone textures to the outside walls as well to make it like a little more interesting because it was kind of boring, I think, but for the most part it is entirely white. And I had an interesting time with this one because I don't really do modern builds that often, and I feel kind of intimidated by them most of the time because I feel like it's just so broad, like you could do so much with it. But I do end up liking the way this one turns out, so I think it's fine in the end. It just like, actually I found it really helpful to just like have the concept of the white box, because then I knew I wanted to add some black accents to it. But yeah, I do think this is pretty standard on my part for like a modern build. I don't really go outside of my range of normal modernness that much. But I don't know, I'd like to work some more on modern builds in the future because I just feel like there's a lot of potential there, and I just really need to like learn more about how to do those because, yeah, like I said, I'm not very good at really exploring them to the fullest amount that you can because, like I said, it's a pretty big category, you know. There's a lot you could like put a label on it and say like, oh, this is modern. But I guess this one you could say it's kind of more futuristic, I guess, although there's not really a lot of curves to it, which I kind of associate with modern builds, I think, because like I said, it's just a box. So I don't know, but it does end up being a, I believe, 4-bedroom family home, 4 or 5. I'm pretty sure there is an office. No, there's not an office, actually, that's a lie. So I believe it's 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms or something like that. We'll probably see as we get further on into the build. But yeah, so there's a master bedroom downstairs, and there's also the kids' bedrooms upstairs, and I do have all of the bedrooms fully decorated and stuff. As per usual, I really end up liking the backyard as well in this one because I don't know, it's not even like the lighting is particularly nice, which is the thing that I usually say, because I've noticed the overwhelming trend in the Sims lots is that the lighting in the front of the lot is awful and the lighting in the back of the lot is just so gorgeous, and it makes the backyards so nice. So I usually really enjoy doing backyards for that reason, but I just really like the backyard in this one because I feel like usually I'm trying to make backyards, like especially in more suburban houses and stuff like that, I'm trying to make them more casual, I guess, but this one is a bit fancier. I do have like several builds that I've done when I was like on my quote-unquote break thing from YouTube that aren't going to be made into speed builds because I did record them, but the footage on them was all corrupted and stuff, so yeah, fun times, right? But those all have really nice backyards, so I guess I'm kind of on a kick with that right now. But yeah, this is just one example of that, so you'll see that as it comes along, but just for now, this is just the landscaping. I did cut out this little bit where I'm just surrounding the flower bed with these, I don't know what they are, like bricks, package type of things. You can find them in the debug menu. And I have instructions for that in the description, by the way, because I love using those in a lot of items from the debug menu. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. And then I'm just making a little path. Right now, I think the build actually looks really bland, but I do end up adding a bit more to it. In the front, it's still, I think by the end of it, it still is a little bit bland in the front, but the back of it, especially because the backyard is there, looks really nice, I think. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it overall. I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, that's what's going on. But anyway, I have some stories that I want to tell because I need to rant. So, first story, number 1. Let me set the scene for you. This was Thursday at school, okay? So, I'm just chilling. I'm kind of in a bad mood already because I had a math test like earlier that morning, so I was not exactly vibing. The math test was not the greatest thing in the world and whatnot, so we were not doing too fantastic. But I had a Spanish presentation, right? And I was very nervous for my Spanish presentation because I was not prepared at all. And I know irresponsible student and stuff, but you have to understand how much effort I had put into studying for this math test that I just kind of, you know, I did not really prevail on that one. But I tried, I really did. But anyway, so I was not prepared for this Spanish presentation, and I was so nervous because it was me and my friend, who's my partner on the project. We were presenting on the Dominican Republic, and we had to do like just basically a presentation about the country in Spanish, about the culture, and like sort of like a sales pitch to get people to want to visit it, I guess. And yeah, that's what was happening. So the presentation actually went like decently well, considering the level of preparation I had for it. I feel like I was pretty good, and everything was fine, right? And so I was happy because I was like, wow, I can't believe this has gone well. Like, I did not think I was gonna have a good day today after the math test and the whatnot and the meh. And then guess what happened? So we had to bring these like foods basically, or not multiple, but just one per like group or partner pair. You have to bring a food from your country, or like that has its origins in your country, and like basically just bring the food. So you make it and then bring it and like talk about it a little bit, like where it comes from in the country and the recipe and stuff during the presentation, right? But then you have to serve it to people. Okay, so that's where our problem starts. So my friend and I, we were originally going to make these like mini empanada things, but then we realized that both of us suck at cooking, so that would not be a good idea. So then instead we decided to make this thing like a papaya milkshake. So it's called batida de lechosa, I believe. It's actually quite good if you want to try it. It's pretty easy to make and stuff. So yeah, that's what we were making, just in case anybody was wondering. Now, I did not have any contribution to making the final product that we brought into the class. We did do a test run of it over the weekend, but I didn't make the one that we brought to class because I had a game the day before and I was like home really late and stuff, so I didn't have time to make it. My partner was the one that made it, and so she brought it to class, right? And she brought it in these 2 mugs that were like you know the Starbucks cups that you can buy and reuse and stuff? They were basically that. And we had 2 of these full of this papaya milkshake stuff, and we were like, yeah, this is going great. And I brought Dixie cups, so we were just like gonna pour it into the I can speak. We're just gonna pour it into the Dixie cups and pass it around, right? And so I was in the process of doing this, and now, mind you, my hands were shaking because I get very nervous during presentations, and so I was like, oh boy, hands shaking, stressful times. But I was in the corner of the classroom, so nobody could see me, so I was like, it's fine, I'll just, like, nobody will have to know that I'm so nervous to pour papaya milkshake, you know? But then, the papaya milkshake was in the cup. Guess where it did not go? The Dixie cup. Guess where it did go? All over my hand, all over the carpet of my Spanish classroom, all over the desk, and all over this poor kid's backpack. And I felt so bad, okay? Because, like, my hand is one thing. I can deal with my hand. It was, like, on my hand and my pants and whatever. And, like, I can deal with that, you know? It's not a big deal. And nobody really would have had to know, I guess, either. Like, I could have just cleaned it up, you know? But I mean, it was like splat all over everything, and it was so bad. It was so embarrassing because luckily we were the last presentation of the day, because I would have cried if that was in the middle of somebody else's presentation and we were just like, you know, food spillage while somebody else is trying to present on their country. That would have been awful. But yeah, it was just like the last 5 minutes of class and everybody was like eager to go and stuff, right? And they're just like waiting for us to give them their papaya milkshakes so they can totally tune out and like wait for the bell to ring. And then that happened. And also this kid, oh my god, I felt so bad for him because it was papaya milkshake just all over his backpack, and we were trying to like scrub it off and stuff. Of course, immediately I was like, oh dear, what have I done? This is awful. And here's the worst thing. My immediate reaction to this wasn't like horror or anything. I was just laughing hysterically. I was like, oh my god, what have I done? But like, I mean, I think it was shock, you know, bad reaction to a bad situation. But yeah, that was not a fun time. And so that happened, and then it was so sad too, because that presentation, I think I would have gotten a good grade on it. To like it was not that bad, you know. The whole thing was pretty good, and then it just really fell apart there at the end. So yeah, but we did sort of get it cleaned up. Like, we got it cleaned off the desk, cleaned off my hand obviously, and sort of off the carpet. Like, you can't really see it on the carpet anymore, I think, so it's kind of okay. I don't know, I feel really bad. I just feel really bad. And of course my Spanish teacher was mad. She was like, I mean, I don't think she was, like, I wouldn't blame her for being mad, you know, but she was like, she had the paper towels and she was like bringing them over to the desk so I could start cleaning up more, and she just like put them down and sighed really heavily, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm so sorry, I don't know what I did or why I did it. And then yeah, the whole thing was very embarrassing, but fun. Also, my Spanish classmates, as it turns out, are very nice, and they were all like helping us clean it up and stuff. But that was oh boy, adventures in high school, am I right? Yeah, maybe. No, I don't know. It was a bad situation. But yeah, that really was the thing that happened. That Spanish class, I tell ya, it's a whole thing. That class is I think it just breeds funny stuff. I don't know what it is. Something about like the timing. It's okay, it's right before our first like break, quote unquote, of the day. Like it's right before brunch. So everybody's always like hyper to get out and stuff, and it just, I don't know, something about talking in another language and stuff. And yeah. Oh, I have another funny story about that class actually. So we have to do these things called dialogos, which is basically like dialogues, where you just go up there and you get a prompt, and you know the prompts ahead of time, but there's nothing, like, you can't really do a lot to practice for them, because like you have to go up with another person, and you never know if the other person is gonna like be on the same wavelength as you with, you know, what you want to say in the story you want to tell with your dialogue and stuff. So it kind of sucks, but yeah. We were doing those one day, and my friend, actually the same friend that I was doing the presentation with, was up, and she had her dialogue, and her prompt, actually, it was a really easy prompt. It was like, you get like 2 other people up with you, I think, or something like that, and you just have to talk about like what you want to do over the weekend, and like sort of basically get into an argument over what your group of friends should do over the weekend. And yeah, so she was saying something, I forget what she was saying, but someone said like, oh, we should go to the tennis court, because the whole thing is like you have to use the vocab words, like the vocab that you're learning in the class at the time. Someone like, oh, we should go to the cancha de tenis, and then my friend was like, oh, con quien, which means who, right? So she was responding to this person that said we should go to the tennis court, and she was like, oh, with who? Like, who are we gonna go to the tennis court with? Because none of us play tennis, you know, in this hypothetical Spanish dialogue universe. But then somebody else, at the same time as the other person had said, oh, we should go to the tennis court, someone else said we should sleep. And so it sounded like my friend said we should, or like my friend had responded to the person that said we should sleep, and she had said with who. And oh boy, that was a funny, yeah, it was a funny situation, because the teacher was so confused, because she didn't hear the person that said they should go to the tennis court either. So she wrote it on the person, on my friend's like evaluation thing, like rubric. She was like, con quien, question mark. So that was an interesting time. I don't know, my dialogues are usually fine, I think. But last year we had to do one for, not for Spanish 3, for Spanish 2 we had to do one. It was like our final, and it was much longer and kind of more complex and stuff. Did not have a good time with that one, because my partner didn't really try that much, but it was kind of funny, because at the end of it, the prompt was like about your birthday and stuff, or like talking about your birthday basically, and the other person's birthday. And one of the things that you have to like cover is, oh, did they have fun at their birthday, right? So at the end I was like, oh, did you have fun at your birthday? And he was like, no. And I was getting ready to be like, oh, KBN, which means like, oh, that's great, you know, because I thought he was gonna say like, yeah, of course I had fun at my birthday, it was my birthday. But he was like, oh, not really. And I was like, oh, okay. Lo siento, which means sorry, like, I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't know what to say to you, like, I'm sorry you didn't have fun at your birthday, you know? So that was a fun time as well. You know, really good class, solid, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I don't know, I'm doing AP Spanish next year. I don't know if we have to do dialogues in that class, but I imagine if we do, it'll breed some funny stuff, because we're all gonna be juniors and stressed and in a million AP classes. Haha, funny times, right? Not even fun times, just funny times. You know, I think out of the horror of being terrified that you're gonna fail life comes really comical situations sometimes. So that's, yeah, we're really living our best lives right now, you know? But anyway, right now we're working on the kitchen. That was the whole thing. I really just talked about my Spanish class for like 10 minutes, huh? Okay, well, yeah, my Spanish class, really living its best life. But anyway, as I was saying, the kitchen, I really like it actually, because it's very like neutral colored, kind of like very beige-ish. I don't know what exactly to call that wood tone that the cabinets are, but it's very muted, and I really enjoy that color, because I don't really know what to call it, but I just think the muted adds a lot to it, or maybe takes a lot away from it, but it just adds to the look a lot, you know, so I really like that. And then there's also the backsplash is like a bluish color. That's the same backsplash I used in, sorry, I was going to go off on a tangent, but I won't. But I've used that backsplash before a few times. I don't think that's what it's intended for, but it looks really nice as a tile backsplash. So yeah, I liked using that one. But anyway, I'll move on from that now. So now we're working on the master bedroom, and I used the gray like 4-poster bed in here from City Living. I think it's so pretty, and I kind of neglect that bed sometimes because the colors on it, a lot of them are very just bold, I guess is the best word to describe them. And I don't really often have a lot of use for them, because you know, both colors. I tend to build with more neutrals, I think, but I really like the gray one, and since I was using a lot of dark wood tones in this build already, I thought I would just do that. And also, can we just appreciate the lighting in this little area for a second? I put a TV in here. Thinking about it now, I guess it wouldn't be very nice because of the glare it's coming from the skylight on the TV, but like the lighting in this area, okay, with the little cabinets and the dresser and stuff, it's so nice. It's so nice. I love it. I really, sometimes the Sims 4 lighting engine, like often, most of the time, it's awful, but sometimes it really comes through and you're just like bathing in its glory for a second, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, that's happening. Anyway, I was gonna raise up those candles, by the way, but one really annoying thing about the candles, like any candle in the game, if you size it down, the flame stays the same and it stays in the same location. So, like, you can't size it down, because if you do, you'll just have the candle and then you'll have a flame floating like a good 1.5 inches above it or something like that, and it really bothers me because, I don't know, those candles tend to be really big, and like, I like using them in like hippie and boho type of furnishing styles, like just putting them straight on the floor and being done with it, but you can't really use it if you want to put them on a smaller surface, which kind of sucks. But anyway, yeah, I'm using, oh, by the way, these cactuses from University, I didn't get a lot of chance to play with University when it first came out, just because I was like not doing that much Sims at the time, but those plants are so nice. The stuff from University, actually, literally all of it is so nice. That wardrobe stuff is also from there, the wardrobe and the dresser. So yeah, it's really, I really like that pack, actually. I didn't get a lot of chance to say my thoughts on it, or Tiny Living, I guess. I don't know. I feel like people are being kind of negative about Tiny Living, and I don't really know why, because I think it's just a really, really nice pack overall, but like, some people, I know a lot of people wanted bunk beds. Believe me, I did too, and I feel like they should have come in University, and then when they didn't, they definitely should have come in Tiny Living, but like, I have a lot of faith in the Sims gurus as like they want to make the game good for us, you know? I mean, you know, EA is kind of slimy, but like the Maxis people, the people that actually make the game, like it's their baby, they want to make it good. So I don't think they're purposefully like spiting us to make it bad or anything, you know? So yeah, that's the situation there, but I'm sure we'll get them at some point, you know, and if we don't, then I'll have something to complain about, but yeah, now we're just working on the first teenager's bedroom, and this one is for a video gamer, I believe, I'm pretty sure, but yeah, sorry if you heard something, I just hit my desk, and my chemistry textbook, which my mic is sitting on top of, so that's what happened there. But I use a lot of like pastel blue kind of colors in this one, some like teals and greens also, because I just thought it was really pretty, and also those like hanging plants from Movie Hangout, they match so well with that color scheme, I really like it. But yeah, just so you know, the camera might be getting a bit choppy here, like more so than usual, because I don't know what happened, but there were some errors in filming this, so that's why we just skipped the placement of the desk and stuff. But I did put a PC down because I thought that they were like a pretty intense gamer, I guess, and then just some schoolwork as well. I don't know why exactly, but I kind of tend to assume that if someone is a gamer, they're also like sort of a nerd, which is not the same thing, but it's just like from a young age I've had the idea in my head that geek and nerd are the same thing, and they're not, so yeah. But anyway, what else can I talk about? Nothing much. I don't know. I signed up for classes, in case anybody was wondering. I'm sure nobody is, but I'm doing 4 APs and 1 honors class, and I'm gonna cry. The one I decided to not do an AP for, which I was gonna take 5 APs originally, and this is the thing. I feel like I'm kind of letting myself down, because for some reason I had it in my head that like doing 5 APs is a normal thing, which I don't know, maybe it is in other places. It's definitely not where I live, which like, I live in like a place where people are pretty intense about their academics, so I don't know if that means it's like less normal or more normal, just because like the workload is so insane. But yeah, that's the thing that's happening. But I decided to not do APLAC, which is AP Lang and Comp, for my lit class, for several reasons. First of all, I don't know, it seemed like the one that dropped out the most, because even though I really like writing, and I feel like writing essays would be a pretty easy thing for me to do, I just felt like, I don't know, I wasn't really sure how much I needed it, maybe, And yeah, I'm still doing an honors class for that though. I'm doing AMLIT honors, which is like more focused on actual reading, but I have a lot of problems with it because I don't like to be reading multiple books at the same time. And yeah, for AMLIT, obviously we're going to be reading books all the time, but for APLAC you don't really read books, you do like more essays and stuff, or you read essays, I mean, and articles and stuff. So I feel like I would do more recreational reading if I was taking that course, but you know, it'll be fine. Not like I'll have a lot of time for recreational reading anyway. So that is happening. Yeah, but I also didn't want to do APLAC because my lit teacher freshman year, might have been going back to teach that course, and oh boy, would I have cried quite a lot if I had to have him again, because he, traumatic memories, so much fun, but he was just a very intense teacher, and I don't think he particularly liked me, because, I mean, I don't know why, I'm just assuming it might have been because I was, like, kind of a tryhard, which teachers sometimes like, teachers sometimes hate, but, like, the thing is, I wasn't trying to be a tryhard, it's just, you have to understand, freshman year, I was so anxious all the time, and I entirely, like, formed my entire personality that year around, like, being a smart person, or being an overachiever to a fault, and so, yeah, it didn't go too well, but this teacher, really enjoyed that mindset, I guess, so he, like, I don't know, maybe he was trying to promote it in other students, but it really didn't. It really just shut down most other students with the way, because he would talk a lot of, like, oh, like, this work is horrible and meh and bleh, and, like, give us example essays and stuff and be like, oh, I would have given this a C, and then everybody's reading it and being like, oh, but that's, like, standard. That's what I would have written. I can't believe this would get a C, you know, because we're all used to getting A's. And so, it was not a good time because of that, and because I was, like, obsessive, I would be like, oh boy, better do whatever it takes to get an A. And then, shocker, I ended up with above 100% both semesters, but, like, was I okay? No. And also, the thing is, he talked so much bigger than, like, he actually ended up doing stuff. Like, he literally, I don't even know what grade I got on essays and stuff, because he never just, like, they never got into the grade book, and it really annoyed me, too, because I worked so hard on a lot of those, but, it's fine. Everything is totally okay. I promise I'm fine, but the point is that he would be teaching, or he might be teaching APLAC, I don't know, he used to teach it, which also, I think that's where he got his mindset from as well, because, like, going from teaching APLAC juniors, that's, like, the cream of the junior crop, okay, this is the nerds, going from teaching that to, like, itty-bitty freshmen in a, like, standard level lit class, it's just totally different, so that might have been part of why he was so intense, but I don't know, that just really stressed me out as a class, so I don't want to have to go through it again, so that's happening, but yeah, I don't know, man, we might not have time to survive next year, but all of my teachers, it's really bothering me, I feel like they don't care about my well-being at all, which, like, I'm sure that's not true, you know, but just looking at the objective facts, like, they give these speeches, okay, to the whole class, they're like, oh, don't take all of these APs, like, you're gonna kill yourself, you know, don't do that to yourself, and everybody's listening, and of course, they're either ignoring them, or they're not planning on taking any APs in the first place, so, yeah, does it really do much good? I don't know, but, then, like, when they're going to sign, like, everybody's course selection forms, they're like, oh, you're gonna take the AP of my class, right? Like, I mean, to me specifically, I don't know if they did this to everybody, but, like, every single one of my teachers was like, oh, you should take the AP of this subject next year. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do here? This is rough, you know? But then they also look at my course selection with, like, 4 APs written down, and they're like, oh, okay, you're doing that. And they don't say anything about it, even though I've, like, listened to them go around and looking at other people's, and they're like, oh, I don't think you should do that, like, I'm gonna refuse to sign your form, you know? So do they not care, like, do they genuinely not care about me enough to be like, you shouldn't do that, you know? So, I'm kind of concerned that my teachers have no, reason to care about my well-being. That's interesting and fun. Not really. And then the guidance counselor, oh my god, like, literally, the person that's supposed to tell you if they think your workload is gonna be too much, was sitting there, and he like looked at my course selection form, and there was a whole section of it you're supposed to fill out where you go and look at like how much time you're gonna have for each individual activity and like break it down week by week and be like, oh, here's how many hours I'm gonna spend doing homework each week, here's how many hours I'm gonna spend doing like community service each week, you know? And so I had gone through and like written down all this stuff, and I had written down like my 10 hours a week for sports and my like 30 hours a week for homework and stuff. They give you like a list of all of the AP classes and how much homework per week is going to be assigned for each class. So that's what I was getting the numbers from. But I had gone through, right, and written down all of these numbers, and I was kind of like, that's a lot, and it came out to like, I don't know, 75 hours for school a week or something like that. So, you know, not gonna have a lot of time. It's great. But I had written down like 0 hours for necessities, 0 hours for free time, 0 hours for family time, just because I wasn't really thinking about it. Like, it was kind of as a joke. But he just looked at that, and he thought I was being serious, and he didn't say anything about it. Like, he actually looked at it, and he was like, oh, I guess you're gonna like eat while you study, right? And I was like, haha, haha, yeah, definitely, like finger guns, you know? But he didn't say anything. He didn't try to stop me, and I'm really upset. I don't know. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, I probably wouldn't listen to them anyway, because like I have said in the past, like, I genuinely am interested in the classes. I'm kind of worried about the amount of homework, but like the actual content I'm really excited for. But yeah, that's a thing that's happening. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the build here, just working on a balcony, and I think once that's over, this will be pretty much done. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can leave a like and comment to let me know. Subscribe if you want to stick around and see more, and that is it. Thank you for watching. Bye!